Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
The Lodgecast Experience.
Warning, warning, dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
Hello once again, and welcome to Lockdown Hot Takes. I'm your Lodge Master. With me, as always, virtually is Brother Bishki.
Feeling hot.
We got Brother Lucas on the computer screen.
Ready to give you a take.
And today, whatever the fuck it is, we have one of the all-time special guests. You know her. You hopefully love her like I do. It's Lodge Mistress Millie.
Horror again.
Yes.
We've brought you back tonight for a horror film, and I feel like we need to set the stage a bit for the circumstances in which we all viewed this film. This is another drive-in special, but it's not what we really set out to see. We went to the drive-in. Bishki, myself, LT, Lodge Mistress stayed at home for reasons that are her own. And she was kind of right, too. It was a bit of a shit show, I would have to say.
Yeah, the word has gotten out. LA has descended upon the Mission Tiki drive-in.
There have been just maybe 100 too many think pieces about how the drive-in movie theater shall be the savior of all movie theaters during this pandemic. And I don't know if it was a combination of that and the fact that it was a holiday weekend. Because, weekends don't really mean anything anymore, but it was pizzacked. It was lines of cars to get in, and all for just kind of, either VOD or second run theatrical releases. People are just dying to get out.
Yeah.
They're dying to see the Troll movie out and about.
Sonic the Hedgehog was on one of the screens.
I could watch Sonic the Hedgehog out of my side view mirror.
Wow.
While we were watching our movies.
Yeah.
But we were supposed to go there to be professional and vet and possibly Lodgecast the movie Arkansas. And I did show this trailer to Milster before we went, and she gave it a hard pass.
Smart girl.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't look like there was anything in there for you, huh?
Yeah, not a thing. Not enough ladies. Just, it looked awful.
And we got there. The movie started right on time, but, the drive-in is notorious for not playing things very brightly and keeping their projector bulbs at an all-time low. LT opined that they probably haven't changed their projector bulbs since 1985, and I think he was correct. Because we couldn't see anything.
Blackout. It was blackout from where I was sitting. And at first, I thought it just wasn't dark enough globally. Like the sun had gone down at 7:50, but by 8:15, there was still that blue in the sky. Like it wasn't a pitch black night. So I thought for some reason that wasn't helping the projection. But after 15 minutes, God bless the projectionist. He restarted, he rebooted.
Well, you play a lot of mind games with yourself when you're looking at a black screen, but you're hearing the movie. You're like, it's just not dark enough. Or the projector bulb needs to warm up a little bit. Yeah. No, somebody just fucked up. We could hear John Malkovich in a weird Southern accent booming out from the darkness. And we were all just like, what life choices brought us here tonight? What are we doing here? So the movie, they pulled the plug, they started it over, and then we could see it a little bit better.
2 stops brighter, but it was still dark. But you could at least you could see the actual scenes and the actors' bodies and silhouettes in the scene.
So, we had to watch the first 15 minutes over again, which did not help morale. And then the movie proceeded to be just a slug.
An acting exercise. It felt like when your acting class shoots a bunch of scenes on tape so that the actors can go out into the world and show people what they look like on film.
Precisely.
It was like a series of scenes with a very loose kind of drug smuggling thread.
It was like Vince Vaughn donated his time to this class to come by and be in the scenes with a few different actors too. And Malkovich. But Malkovich was like, you got to let me do whatever the hell I want to do.
It was basically a woof.
It was oddly flat and inert and lacked any and all tension or urgency for a drug like smuggling story or milieu. And even with like scenes of torture, it wasn't gritty or disturbing, like, oh, wow, watch the tone turn on the drop of a dime. It was more like, oh, wow, this isn't working. And I feel bad for John Malkovich because he's doing his best to give the director what he wants.
Was
but
he, though?
it just doesn't add up to anything. So I have to admit that my date and I, like, we had to pull the ripcord. I couldn't sit in the car for that long. It was like an hour drive east, and my GPS, it was pretty simple. I knew it was only like the 210 east, but like my GPS froze. So we overshot the exit by like 10 miles. And like by the time we double backed, I was like just stressed out. I was like, oh, man.
There's a horror movie in that somewhere. Your GPS freezes on the way to a drive-in. But we digress. Arkansas is not what we're here to talk about tonight.
No, we're here to talk about the #1 movie in America right now.
Literally.
Which is a miracle. Which is a damnable miracle that The Wretched is the #1 movie in America by default. It's a true monkey's paw wish that these directors probably had, where they're like, if only The Wretched could be the #1 movie in America. The monkey's paw curls its finger, and we have a pandemic that makes it come true.
I think The Wretched would have done good anyway, though. It's like if you have a horror movie with any kind of a twist or any kind of an ending that seems like a twist and holds together a little bit, it usually does well.
If you have a horror, if you have a horror movie that holds together, period.
I mean,
you're going to have some fans. So let's talk about our Wretched experience. We were going to dip after the first feature for sure. And we have a few other lodge folk that were in the mix. And the general consensus was, we'll leave after the first kill. And the first kill became the second kill, became the third kill. And before we knew it, we'd stayed through the whole thing. So, I mean, I would have to say that this is the perfect drive-in movie for right now. Like, this is the kind of movie that you go to where it's just like, what is this? Never heard of it. Shot with nobody I recognize.
No.
But it came here to scare us or at least gross us out.
Yeah, no, I was ready to bounce, and but it just kind of kept pulling you back in. And we all stayed the whole way, those of us who watched it.
I had to see it on VOD. So I watched it separately alone with Apple AirPlay, projected onto my living room wall. So I still kind of got the home theater effect.
So the Lodge Mistress and LT saw it from the comfort of their homes. We saw it from the comfort of our driver's seats at the drive-in. So that's where kind of the atmospheric split takes place. Mm-hmm. But basically, this movie is just a small cast. There's a bit of The Burbs. There's a whole lot of Fright Night. I was
going to say Fright Night.
Fright Night.
A little of it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
And even the underrated, less seen Billy Friedkin movie, The Guardian.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. I agree. Yeah.
Yes. So I don't want to give too much away about this movie because it is the #1 movie in America. People are seeing it. So I feel like it might come across your TV set and you will have nothing to watch because you've watched everything. Regardless of where our bones lie, you're probably going to want to check this out like at some point when everything else runs dry. But suffice it to say, it's about a creature that inhabits the body of a neighbor, and the kid who lives next door kind of knows this, but no one will believe him. And it kind of goes from there.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah. I mean, also there's like the Way Back summer movie, or the Way Back, where the whole
right.
setup is the lead teenager is like, him and his dad, they work at like a boat rental marina somewhere for the summer. So it kind of makes them outsiders like in this community temporarily. So they don't really know you know, who's good or who's bad in general, which is
A
kind of
little touch of Ozark
yeah.
on top.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, Bishki, what was your general impression of the scares on display?
Well, initially I wasn't paying too much attention, and I didn't take notes during the film because I was just not expecting to lodgecast this. But then there was like a shot of a lady peeing in the woods, and then they
That
hit,
got your attention.
and then I was like, okay. And then there was like a shot of like a, and then there
Papa
was like
squat.
and then there was like a shot of like a deer getting gutted, and then I was like, okay, I think something's going on here. And then Ben, our lead character, Ben, he goes to a party. He gets involved with a girl named Mallory. They hit it off. And I'm just on board with this kid, Ben. I don't know. I didn't know any of the actors in this movie, but he was a good lead, and his love interest was a good lead. I was just intrigued going in.
So Bishki's relating to Ben big time. And now it's making me wonder if you ever puked during a romantic encounter. That was one of my favorite moments of our young hero.
Well, that's right. They didn't kiss. He pukes right before, but there was a great. I just want to mention she's talking about being Hannah Montana, and she puts a wig on, and there's a great 4-bone line that you mentioned.
Yeah, she had this wig for a long time, and our hero is like, well, what did you do with the wig? And she's like, I got rid of it because it started to smell like butt.
And I thought to myself, no girl would say that. That's what I thought. I like that Bishki thought it was a 4-bone line.
It is a 4. You ladies need to start saying more 4-bone
Maybe
stuff
some
to
ladies
us.
do.
But I liked that the creature, our hero Ben does a little internet research. He goes on Wikipedia to research this creature.
Yes,
And he learns that it is born of root, rock, and tree. And it also feasts on the forgotten.
Yep.
yes, and she's making people forget about their kids. So the possessed neighbor next door steals children, and also turns the dad into a strange
Sex toy?
yeah. And there was a sex scene with the possessed mother and the dad, and that easily could have been the salad dragon, but they cut away from it, which was
Yeah, I was getting
disappointing.
ready. I was getting ready for some great demon sex dragonry. That just didn't happen. They faded to black too quickly. But you know, there's ample other squishy, disgusting moments, but it never really got to that euphoric salad dragony level.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't think of any salad dragon scene off the top of my head. Like there are definitely, what I appreciated about the movie was there was definitely disturbing, uncanny, like unsettling images that were definitely like of the horror like realm. You know, they're not like so much pop out scares or like stupid jump scares.
And the effects, I thought the effects were generally very good. There's a lot of, you can tell that the filmmakers care about practical effects a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, there is probably some digital wizardry in there. But again, the darkness of the drive-in, the relative darkness of the drive-in will hide a lot of those sins, you know? So it looked, the demon, whenever they would show the demon, just looked really fucking slimy. Like the slime was palpable. Like you could get wet from it just by looking at it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you could smell it. Yeah.
You could smell the slime.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love tactile horror effects, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my one asterisk because I was a little farther back in the drive-in. So that when it got dark and those scenes, I can't quite judge in terms of how good those effects were. So that was my one kind of like, I wish I kind of would have seen this at full brightness, but still they look good from what I could try to make out.
And I was also distracted for part of the movie because I didn't want to go to the bathroom and wait in line with a bunch of people who may or may not have been practicing social distancing. So I was like looking around the car trying to figure out what I was going to pee into to help me stay at this movie and
what
stay
made the
engaged.
cut?
I peed into my Chili's to-go cup.
That's solid.
And
Solid.
that's an admission I'm going to make right now.
We've all
on the
been
podcast.
there. We've all done that.
I'm not too proud, and it worked like a charm.
Well,
So-
for the record, I would like to counter that with during Arkansas, the previous film, I had to use the restroom, and I had a mask on when I got out of the car, but the line to the bathroom was so long and my bladder was so small. I had to go to like where the two like lots meet, where it's like one screen on one side and one screen on the other. And I like peed on the fence, like right as, people were watching the movie. Yeah, it was pretty risky because they had security kind of roaming around like the perimeter.
What a bad boy.
Yeah.
Did you feel accomplished afterwards?
I felt much better knowing that I could make it home on the 50+ mile drive with a easy ride, but I felt a little bad that like there could be families glancing out their car and definitely like knowing what I'm up to,
not knowing that you're an upstanding podcaster who's just trying to do his job,
and that I have 0 convictions on my record.
Let's go to them wretched bones. Lodge Mistress, lay it all out for us. Give us the woman's angle on this.
From the opening credits, I had a good feeling because it was all these brightly colored toys against this sort of sludge. And I was like, okay, this is going to be some horror with a little heart. I knew it from the opening credits, and it was pretty satisfying for me. I wasn't going in with any high hopes, but at the same time, like, I found it pretty entertaining the whole way through. It felt like a TV show, really, up until the twist. And because I was like, why is this a film? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like they're following lots of characters.
We ask that a lot of times.
Yeah, therefore I couldn't really get behind any one particular one, even though that boy Ben, I guess, was our main character. But then at the end, I was like, oh, okay, because the ending answered another question that I had, which I won't say, so we won't ruin anything. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good, man. I'd say 3 bones.
3 easy bones.
It went down easy. It went down easy for me. It was It was all right. Yeah, I liked it.
All right, Lodge Mistress. Let's bring it on over to the night peer, Brother Lucas.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed The Wretched more than... excuse me. It's not COVID-19. It's just allergies. I definitely liked it a lot more than Arkansas, obviously, and I was impressed with the directors. I think they're 2 brothers, because there were certain shots that they really must have storyboarded, because the shots were like so well composed or framed, and they were kind of crucial to the story. They were like very ominous. So like when the mom comes home and she's clearly like been possessed, her husband's like going to work, and there's like this weird like angle tilted down behind her shoulder. You can't really see her face. And I love that shot. And the husband's like going to work, and he's like, "Whoa, honey, you stink!" And he like kisses her and leaves. And it's just like it works. It's effective. And there's a lot of those shots. Like that's just one example, but there's a bunch of great shots kind of sprinkled throughout, and they're edited very seamlessly. Like they don't oversell it or overdo it, which I was very impressed by. That being said, story-wise, it's interesting because the running time is a taut 90 minutes. Like it's a solid horror movie running time. But with the exception of the cold open, it opens with a child victim getting like eaten in a basement by like a zombie, and then it cuts to 35 years later. It really, I thought, took a long time to get going. And I even checked the runtime like 30 minutes in, because I was like, when is the plot going to kick in? Like I was waiting a long time for something to happen. There was like weird, scary shit, but like in terms of like the actual mystery of like what is going on. And when it finally kicks into gear, it is basically Fright Night meets The Guardian or Invasion of the Body Snatchers or whatever. And then when you get to the climax, which I will not spoil, it kind of ruined it for me because it's very reminiscent of an iconic popular culture TV show. And I'll just leave it at that. And so once it got there, I lost a lot of enthusiasm, and I could kind of see where it was going after that with the ending and everything. So I want to give this 2.5, but I'm going to give it 2.
All right.
Wow.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair, Lucas. Brother Bishke, what say you?
This was a weird one, but it captured our imaginations at the drive-in. I think it's a great drive-in movie. If you have one nearby, make sure you go on probably a weekday if you're in LA, because I'm glad it's the #1 movie in America right now. I wish the projection bulbs were a little brighter, because there was things that's where the asterisk comes in with my bones, because I'm not sure how good, especially towards the end when it's just all at night scenes, how good it was. But
the scene that was showing Sonic the Hedgehog was plenty bright.
yeah, and Valley Girl was playing very bright, like a couple football fields away. But
Valley Girl 2020.
yeah, Valley Girl 2020. But our projection was a little dim, but it still captured. It still's like, this is what's #1 right now. Avengers was last year. This is the new. This is the new #1, and I thought the Pierce brothers shooting in Northport, Michigan, close to the Upper Peninsula.
That's cool, yeah.
Close to the Upper Peninsula, did a great job with their location. I love the kid Ben. And I hope to see the Wretched 2. The twist ending didn't make totally much sense, so we didn't spoil much, but there's a lot of shenanigans that go down. I liked it. It's 2.5 bones, perfect for the drive-in. Go see it today.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that pitch. I think I'm going to go with the Lodge Mistress on this one. I think I'm more at a 2.5 in a regular civilian mode, but going to the drive-in and it being, the quarantine bump, the mystical quarantine bump where we've been giving things lately, it'll go easily up to a 3 for me. I had a great time, and I love Fright Night. Fright Night
Same.
is one of
The OG.
my top.
The 1985 version.
85 only, please.
Yeah. Fright Night for real.
It is one of my favorite films, and so even if you're a pale imitator, which I don't think this was pale, but it's definitely an imitator, I'm on board with you. Like, obviously, I love what their influences are that led them to this story, and I just think it's amazing that it's #1 at the box office. I saw Saban Films is bringing We Summon the Darkness on a drive-in tour as well.
Nice.
Which works.
It'll do well.
It works. Yeah.
Which, on its face is great, but quality-wise, this has got that beaten,
Much
threefold.
better. Much better, yeah.
So I think if you're looking for some new horror that's rocking around your VOD osphere, I don't think you're going to get much better than this in the current slate of what we're looking at. And I mean, I wouldn't mind a Wretched 2.
Yeah,
Let's
I'd
go
see
for it.
Yeah.
Lodge Mistress Millie, thank you so much for joining
It
us.
was a pleasure.
Thank
On
you,
this
Lodge
hot
Mistress.
take.
Yes.
Thank you.
Keeping it tight and right. Boys, let's keep looking for those gems, those diamonds hiding in the rough.
Let's do it.
Yes.
We got some Apatow coming up. We got some kind of high-profile joints coming down the line.
Commercial movies.
Yeah, summer's definitely heating up. We got a Spike Lee joint. I can't wait. So, yeah.
Doesn't mean they're going to be good, but
Yeah.
they're coming. Love and light, every single one of you.
Yeah.
Love and light.
Beautiful.